Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and we have a rough movie to talk about. Before we get into that, I'm going to introduce my guests. First off, we got Liz Fletcher here, back again. How are you doing, Liz?
I'm good, Jonathan. How are you?
Good. And we also got Jason Zlatkus back again. How are you doing, Jason?
Hey man, it's good to be here. I'm doing well. Hi Liz, good to see you.
Hi, Jason. Good to see you too.
And this is the first time having, this is again another time having two people and people that haven't been on the show together before. So this is going to be fun. There will be probably internet connection issues. I'm hoping not. Like so far, so good, but we'll see. So we're gonna start this off talking about a movie called Death Rink. And when I saw I saw this on Tubi, I thought, oh man, this is gonna be fun. I thought, like a slasher inside a skating rink. I mean, how could you make that terrible? And I was wrong.
How could you make that good? I think is the question. How could you
make
that good?
Oh no!
I love
good.
It could have been. Even like you were pointing out, Liz, earlier that the poster looks cooler than the movie. Was.
I would rather stare at the poster for 74 minutes than watch that movie again.
So the poster has a bunch of stuff that's like really like, okay, it looks like a 70s outfit, like a roller skating theme, and it's got an axe, and none of that appears in the film. None of it.
Oh no. None of
it. Too. I mean, you got the bright colors, the awesome title, the sexy woman holding an axe. I mean, it looks awesome.
And it's none of that.
Do you think that's a thing? Do you think a lot of indie filmmakers spend more time on their poster than they do on their film? Is that something?
I don't feel like they do, but
they're not supposed to.
All the budget spent on the poster.
Well,
on this one.
So Wild Eye Releasing put it out, and Wild Eye Releasing tends to make good posters, and sometimes not good movies. When I saw Wild Eye Releasing put it out, I was like, oh no. I already knew we were in for something else.
Well, thanks for that one. do you think that they're like, hey, yo, we should spend a lot of money on the poster because that's the hook? It does get people to watch the movie.
Well, yeah, and then that's how they take the money out of the producers, pockets. They basically take the money out by saying, hey, we're gonna spend like $5,000 on this poster and then not give you $5,000 at all when the movie starts to make money, or whatever. Like that's literally legit what most distributors do.
Do you think they spent $5,000 on that poster?
Maybe not.
I think it's really good.
Yeah, it's a good poster.
Oh, no, it's really good. It's really good, and it's definitely better than the film.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Is that where the budget went? Is it the poster?
Yes, I think. I don't know.
Because it wasn't on special effects.
It wasn't on special effects. It wasn't on any, they didn't have any cameos. So no, big name actors.
Right. Liz Fletcher was not in that movie.
No.
That's right.
She would have made it better.
I'm still a no-name actor, according to some. So.
Well,
I've seen a bunch of stuff you're in, so that's probably something.
Thank you.
And we'll see more coming out in the next couple of years. So.
That's right.
Oh gosh, this is gonna be my year, guys.
I can feel it.
I know it
right now.
We're not talking about you right now. I thought we were. Anyway, moving on. We're talking about name actors in films, and no one was in this one, correct?
No. I mean, I guess the main the lady who owned the place, she sort of had been in some stuff, but she wasn't like a name actor. She was somebody who acted in things before. Most of the other people didn't seem to act in a lot of stuff. They weren't big name actors.
In a way, I kind of liked that though, because it just gave it that realism. Like these are just average, regular people working at a skating rink with this manager who's like in her 30s or 40s that hasn't done anything with her life. So I not that I thought that the acting was great, but I did like who they chose to be in the cast.
Yeah. No, I will agree with that. I actually, I mean, the actors made it as good as they could with what they were given.
And that's another point. It's the script.
It and the direction, I think, and which is the same person, same director as the same writer, and he did not.
Oh, is that true? Is it written and directed by the same guy?
Yeah, and probably produced and probably edited. I can't say that for sure, but what?
Well, when you
probably
crafty also. Sorry, I talked over your list, but.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't know. I just know that he directed and wrote it. And what I looked up about him was that he had acted in a bunch of stuff before and also directed like 14 other things, So, but there were like, I think a lot of shorts and other stuff. And this was like one of the things that stood out. He's got another movie. Maybe his next movie will be better, I mean, who knows?
Maybe.
I don't know.
So there was a bunch of stuff you could tell that he was trying to do. Like I want to talk about that, the part where the killer, if you can call that person that does the strangling with the phone cord. And then at the end of that ridiculous scene, the phone is like swinging back and forth and the camera like comes in on it. It's supposed to be this like cool moment of like the off the hook phone swinging. And I thought, man, somebody who thinks that they're making cool ass cinema was like, yo, that's my shot. Was that phone swinging and things like that stays in the movie. And, and the whole time I could see it from this like first time, like an actor, like you talked about, he's an actor first, he tried to be a director. And I could see those moments in the film when it was with stuff like that, the real obvious phone swinging after the death and, those kind of things.
Yeah. Did you like the deaths, Liz, at all?
They were okay. Here's my issue is this is a slasher horror film and nobody even got killed until like the movie was like 3/4 of the way done. I mean, a good slasher film, you got somebody dying right away and then somebody dying every 15 or 20 minutes. And just, I liked the traffic cone part.
Oh my God. I wanted to talk about that.
But I don't know. It was very anticlimactic to me that the deaths were, I felt like.
Well, and also, can we just say this because we can spoil this movie. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it. It's on Tubi. Stop watching this. Go watch it before, because we're about to spoil this and mention things. Because I have to say, there's no way that chick could carry all those bodies, and make them disappear. Like, there's just no way that just no. No,
maybe that's the part where you suspended disbelief. You're like, yo, this lady could be killing some fit dude with a traffic cone by stomping his head. But right there, you're like, yo, where it really jumps the shark for me is carrying the dead people.
Right. Well, yeah, no, all of it just doesn't work, as a killer. She's the worst killer, but she's the one that you're not supposed to suspect, right? But like the whole time I'm like thinking, okay, unless there's somebody that gets randomly comes in, like the Satan guy, which that pissed me off. Because because there's like nothing that was like, you talk about anticlimactic. That was the most anticlimactic thing ever. Because I was like, oh, the Satan guy must be the killer. Nope. He has nothing to do with it except that he happened to be calling at the same time that she was planning to kill people. Just ridiculous. Like the script, terrible. Like,
and the parts where she's like looking at the phone, like the phone's gonna kill him, like when she's up against the wall, like, oh my God, don't answer the phone. And then the next moment she's all like, yo, we should make out right next to that phone. Like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff where I was like, dude, what is with the script? But can we go back for a moment about the traffic cone kill? like I really think that they could have done anything different and it might have looked better. Like, I don't understand how they were going for that with the little, like the cone was like 10 feet from his head when she stepped on it. And I mean, that effect to me wasn't like very well done.
On top of that, like I gotta rewatch that scene because now that I'm like thinking about it, how the fuck did she get that cone on his head? Like, right? Like you like literally have to like throw a cone over somebody's head. That just doesn't, like when I saw the cone, I was like, okay, what is going on here? What are they gonna do with this? This is just ridiculous.
Like what? Okay, so like there's a bunch of parts where I guess I felt like the actors themselves were actually afraid of dying, and not because they were afraid like, oh my god, this lady's going to kill me, but because they were like so improperly prepared for stunts. Like they literally put the phone cord around the girl's neck, and you can tell she's like not letting it touch her, and she's like, kind of slinking down. And I think it's because she truly didn't want to get choked by the freaking phone cord. And then the guy, when they do that cone kill, right? The dude is laying so far away because they're actually going to step on a cone with a roller skate. And so the guy's like freaked out, like, yo, I don't want to get that roller skate anywhere near my head. And who does? But right. You know what I mean? Like, I think you could tell that the actors in the stunts weren't thought out. They weren't well trained. And that you can, and I think that took a ton out of the movie, that they were trying to do things that were out of their element with this, and like you said, nobody got killed. I think they were afraid of the stunts, I mean, honestly.
By the way, the guy who directed it also, not only being an actor, he was a stunt guy. He did stunts. So like you'd think that he would be the guy and say, let me hire my stunt crew or something, like people I know to do these things. But I guess that wasn't in the budget.
No, I believed the part where the actual actors were roller skating. They seemed like the actual characters on skates. Right. I believe that they were roller skating.
I maybe believe... that's why they were cast.
Maybe like literally they were people that hung around the roller skating rink and they're like, oh, you happen to be an actor. Come be in my movie.
So, right. So, okay. So what I wanted to know was what city was it filmed in? Because I thought maybe they didn't have a lot of talent to pull from. Maybe they were like, yo, we're in some, rural area of Montana, or I don't know, somewhere Kentucky. They're probably in Kentucky. They don't have a lot of great actors,
I think they were
right?
Texas.
So
I want to say, nope, Albuquerque.
Because we already mentioned you were not in the movie, Liz.
I thought it was New Mexico.
It is New Mexico.
Oh, they made that in New Mexico? That's atrocious. I mean, wow. I'm really surprised to hear that.
I know, like, for some reason, because I know a lot of Texas people, and some people actually like worked on this that were from Texas and stuff. So I think
that explains it.
Yeah, it's Texas, New Mexico kind of area, stuff. But yeah, I don't understand. The guy that directed this also happened to act in a bunch of big time movies, too. Like he did stunts for Transcendence, the Johnny Depp movie. But he also acted in like From Dusk Till Dawn, the series. Independence Day Resurgence, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, usually playing like extras, So this was his like big time chance to like make something that, whatever.
He saw how it was done in Hollywood by being on this extra on a set, and then he's like, yo, I can do it. I'll get that lady I know from down the street.
So yeah, well, who's your favorite cast member? Like, who was your favorite character, I guess, really?
Liz, go.
Yeah. She's thinking.
Right.
It's just such a hard choice. They were all kind of bad. I can't pick a favorite. I'm sorry. I'm a party pooper.
No, it's fun.
Dude, all right. So I like the dude who's like, okay, I thought the guy who actually had the only somewhat natural delivery at all was the ridiculous, like the guy who was like, yo, I'm gonna get on her and I'm gonna totally get that chick. And he was like, yeah, that's right. Like I thought he was the only dude who was halfway decent. And I mean, I mean, maybe not. I mean, like I said, he wasn't like great, right? Like Liz said that, like there was really nobody good, but I thought he was one of the better ones. But I thought he was, again, he was like really cheesy, but I did think at least he had some delivery. I definitely thought that the lead lady was like the worst one. Like yeah. She was really bad. And I was, and I really should not talk about anyone's acting. I have made that mistake. I have been that guy in the movie. I have killed a project. It is my, you know what I mean? I should not talk about anyone's acting. But that lady owns this one. Yeah. She killed this one.
she killed it just like she was the killer, Right.
Right. That was the greatest death, was the death of the film by her. Yeah, that was her greatest kill.
Ouch, Jason.
Yeah, I know. I should, you know what? I shouldn't talk about anyone's acting, honestly, because like I said, I have been responsible for killing a movie. It's not I'm bad at that, but I don't anymore, but I have.
It's no, but it's understandable. The problem is, like, when you make a movie that's like relying on your villain to also be like the main character that you're supposed to like, when they switch to being the killer, you've lost all likability. You know what I mean? Like, so it was hard anyway to like watch this, because after I saw that switch, I was just like, okay, now I hate her, like I kind of like the character, but now I'm like, why? Like, and then it also made me go, I don't really care, about her too, like, I don't know. She was the babysitter that brought the kid there. Like,
yeah. Okay. So it's the Friday 13th theme. They totally do the Friday 13th move where she's like, I can't let this death rink reopen, because if this camp reopens after 30 years, then more people are going to get killed. And, like it was like the same story. And she's like, I'm back to keep the rink shut down.
But like, she was working there for 3 years. That doesn't make sense then. She was
literally like trying to make them a profit. And then one day she's all, the opportunity arrives when Satan called. Like,
she's talking about like burning the place down. Why didn't she just do that to begin with?
Yeah, there has to be a better way to shut it down than what she was doing, right? And Liz, did you like her better before or after, when she's like, yo, I'm the killer, or before when she's all like, oh, I can't believe all this stuff is going on here?
I just didn't really I didn't like her much at all. There was nothing. I love whether a movie's a huge budget movie or a no budget movie. The characters have to have substance to them. If I don't care about the characters, I don't really give a shit about can I say shit?
You can say, yeah.
Like, just did. It's live TV.
I really give the movie. And I just didn't feel any connection whatsoever with any of the characters.
That's not, same way. And you know what? I really did not like the drama that was between the two girls or whatever, the two blonde chicks,
that
didn't like each other, I was just like, why don't, like, at first I was like, why don't they like each other? Just because they're both blonde, like, what was the deal? And then it turned out like one of them didn't like the other one because the other one fucked around, but like, that's it. And like, they had an opportunity to make it where, she had fucked her boyfriend or something, and that's why. And I would have got about that, but like literally nothing was ever said as to why. And then it was just like they both just like made fun of each other the whole time, So I was just like, ugh.
I even actually forgot about that subplot of the film. Like, if you can call it a subplot. Like, I actually forgot. Liz was talking about I could care less about him. I actually forgot about that. Was part of the movie. That's how little I could care about them.
Well, like, I only remember it because it drove me nuts, because I was like, stop bitching at each other. Like, good God. Like,
slut shaming.
What?
Slut shaming.
Yeah. Like,
slut shaming. Yeah. I can barely hear you. Yeah.
I want to say it louder than that. My kids are in the house.
Nice. Yeah. That whole lipstick scene in the bathroom and all that stuff was like, what is all this about? That was really forced. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Right. It was that, and like there was just a lot of them yelling at each other and cursing, and it was just stupid. Like it bothered me. A lot of cursing that felt unnecessary to like a movie. Like, look, I'm okay with cursing. I like cursing, but when it becomes like saying cursing all the time, it kind of it loses its meaning, And I feel like the filmmakers should learn basically when to curse, because a lot of times they don't, they don't know the right time to curse.
Right.
It has to be woven in with an art form. It can't just be part of a character's dialogue, even if you think that's how teenagers supposedly talk. Yeah, it doesn't work. That doesn't work on film.
So, Jason, your least favorite kill seems to be the whatever. Well, actually, your least favorite, you have a bunch of them. My least favorite kill was literally the blonde girl getting killed like after eating some chips, like that was so ridiculous. She's like talking to the guy, he's not saying a word. That's very creepy. She's acting like he's just being normal, and then he puts his hand up to like with the knife. What's her? She puts her hand up with the knife, and she's like, "What are you doing with that?"
Like, are you talking about the girl at the locker? Are you talking about
yeah. He's just like staring there. So ridiculous. She was like,
so every character who died does like a monologue with the stupid killer before they die. They're like,
oh my God, that's
every single one of them. Every single one of them goes, "Hey man, why are you standing there? Hey man, what are you doing? All right, so if you're not gonna help, bro, like, okay, man, what? All right, now this joke is over, man. Like, so what are you doing, man? Like, okay, man." And then when he pulls up the knife, she's still not even alarmed, but she had this whole conversation with him, like, "Hey, yeah, so you really like gonna get on her? Oh yeah, you're gonna like do it with that girl? Oh," and then like all these things, right? And she's like doing this whole like monologue with him, and then he busts out a knife, allegedly him or her, whoever it is at that moment, right? The alien, and then which is the dumbest mask to choose because the eye holes are this big. So you're not going to see who's in it with eye holes this big. I'm pretty sure you can still tell it's me, and so it's like so then they monologue with this guy, and then he stands there with the knife. You're right. It's absolutely the dumbest thing. And it's before every single kill in the movie, the monologue.
I mean, look, you could have had anybody play the killer, right? Like at the end of the movie, you could have had I would have had it be the security guy because I forgot about him. Right.
Oh, he was terrible. Wasn't he bad?
Oh, he was terrible.
I shouldn't say that. That's right. I mean, hey, remember that scene where he wasn't really doing his thing?
But he was he was not good. But he was by far one of my favorite characters because because at least he was consistent with his terribleness. And so it's sort of fun, like it was sort of fun. Like I got this B movie can't be like I'm the guy who's gonna come and save the day, and then oops, I got killed. Like because the story
I got killed, right?
Or did he get knocked out?
Okay, so he got killed, but then we find out he wasn't killed, right?
Yeah, that's right. Oh my goodness,
right? But he gets killed like immediately. He's the first one. He's the first half hour kill.
Well, yeah, no, I'm talking about when he's like, when he comes in there to save the day, right? And he comes back at the end or whatever. Doesn't like he comes out and the chick comes back behind him after because he thought she.
Oh, does he die again?
I think he does.
Oh, I forgot because I remember he got killed by the chains. You're right. He does I think you're right. He gets killed again. I think you're right. I forgot he dies twice.
Yeah.
Oh,
see,
terrible.
That's how memorable this movie is. Nobody's even remembering like other people's deaths other than like because he doesn't say like a huge monologue before he dies, like everybody else.
No, he does the monologue, I think, before he's so stupid with the marijuana. He's like, "Yo, I flushed it, but all except for all this stuff you can see in here." He's like, "I just flushed the good parts." Like he was like, yeah, this bag has marijuana in it, but I flushed it all. Like it was that guy, that dude to me seemed like the guy they most likely pulled in off the street.
Yeah. or he owned the rink. That's what I'm thinking. He owned the rink, and
that's
they were
I mean.
like,
That's exactly what I'm saying. He's friends with somebody because he seems like the least actor like.
mm-hmm.
He's the most dude-like guy in the movie, right?
The director was like, "Hey, man, do you want to come act in my movie?" And he's like, "I got nothing else to do. You know, can I just come in at the beginning and the end?" You know, all right.
Right. I can hear that the director told that guy, "Listen, man, we'll shoot your scenes really quick," and then that dude was there the whole night because then they filmed that stupid movie in chronological order instead of letting that guy go home. You know they did because you know that's a new filmmaker mistake, and you know that guy did that. He goes, all right, we're going to start with scene 1, and they shut it all the way to the end, and that poor guy had to stay the whole night.
Well, that kind of makes sense for most of this movie, though. Most of this movie takes place all in one night, right? So doing it in chronological order makes a little bit more sense.
Okay, you might be right.
For some except for that guy, because he has to come in later or whatever.
I pegged it as a multiple day shoot, but you're right. They likely didn't even use multiple days on it.
Who do you guys think was the actual like POV shots of? Like, you know, there's like that somebody is walking and you hear like the foreboding music or whatever. He's walking outside the ice, not ice, but the rink, this roller skate. There's somebody out there, right? And now I was like thinking, oh, maybe it's the security guy, but I'm like, why the fuck would he just sit around there all day in the parking lot? Like, what would be his point of that? Do you think it might have been the Satan guy? I don't know. And I'm wondering what was the use of that, you know, except to throw us off, you know?
That's probably what it was.
I don't like that though. Like, I hate that shit. Like, don't do that. You know, filmmakers, don't do that.
They think they wrote in something super brilliant, right? They think they have all these like misdirections that are like written in. And the truth is like Liz was saying, you don't even care who the killer is. You're just like hoping they die soon.
You want every single one of those characters to die, you know, horrible.
Except the one guy I liked, was like the guy who's the cross between Dwight Schrute and Bill Hader. You know,
the French guy, French.
Yeah. Dude, you thought that, right? That he looked like Ray Wilson and Bill Hader like mashed together.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot.
What? Go ahead.
A lot of his delivery too was like really like Dwight Schrute's like stuff. You know, I felt like that guy was doing a whole bunch. So that was the one guy I was hoping he was the killer because he seemed like the most fun dude. Like you know. So
you're like, I hope he kind of kills everybody. You know,
right? I hope he's like, you guys don't really take me serious, and you call me French fries, and that's why I'm going to kill you, or anything. I mean, you know, I'm really Satan.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're thinking of better ideas of how to make this movie than the writer director did. You know, like you wanted that guy. I wanted literally anybody else. Like anybody else, except for the girls. Like I wanted it to be a dude, and I wanted it like the security guy made sense. You know, if he came back and he just murdered everybody, and he happened to have a backstory of why, you know, maybe it was his brother who died on the, you know, like they could have done something like that. That would have been interesting,
right?
Or maybe he was the babysitter. Did they say it was a female babysitter or something? I don't know, but they just said babysitter. Could have been a male babysitter. Didn't matter. So they could have done something with that. But no, they decided to have the least likely of the people on purpose to throw us all off and not think it's her. But like most of the time they're pointing at, they did one thing where they actually show her boots. And they have like a scene, and I'm like, wait a minute, are they pointing out that she's the killer right now? You know, like giving it away. Like they did something where I'm just like, okay, you know, it was just, oh, it was awful.
Yeah. So what was with her outfit? Like that's what they're like, okay, so pick this like working class outfit. She wears this like checkered flannel and those like boots. Like Like that seems like the most, okay. And then she's like, oh, and I haven't laced up my skates in 20 years. And they like have all this footage of her skating with that checkered thing like flying around. Like I couldn't get over that either. Like so when you talk about her boots were really noticeable. Mm-hmm. She got dressed up to like, oh yeah, I'm going to be on this movie in my good boots.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I don't know.
I'll bet she said, "Hey, can you get a shot of my boots?" And they were like, "Yeah, we got you."
She was like, "I spent some good money on these boots. They better be in the movie."
That's right. She's like, "I went all the way to the Walmart that's far from my house to get these."
Oh my God.
I have to talk about this one part. Speaking of that lady. Okay. So I noticed this. You guys noticed, speaking of her outfit, right? The whole time in the movie, she's walking around. She's got her boobs like on display. She's like showing her cleavage through this whole movie, right? There's a scene where the dude is literally hitting on her. And it's the only time in the film is when the other actor is sort of leaning over he's kind of talking to her. And he's kind of like leaning over, and he's kind of like, so what's up? We're going to make this happen. We're going to do something. And he's like, and then that's the only time she ever closes her shirt and like covers up. And you can tell she's like really uncomfortable by the actor, not by the character or anything. The woman does it without thinking, just like a woman does when she's like, she covers up when she doesn't want, somebody to look down her shirt, but the whole time she's walking around with her cleavage, except for the scene where the guy is hitting on her. That's the only time she covers up, and it's not character movement.
That should be the time where she's not covering up, because she's allowing him to hit on her. Like
exactly.
Because if that dude noticed body language, he would have been like, "Oh, never mind. Maybe you're not interested." But
what that's what I'm telling you is I noticed her body language, and the director didn't catch it. But her body language says she's uncomfortable with that actor. She doesn't like the scene. Mm-hmm. And I was like, dude, that whole thing was shot because that's the only time in the movie where you need to have your boobs like kind of showing. Like literally, right. She didn't need them any other time in the film. But the part where she's trying to be flirty and get him to that, and then that's when she covers up.
I mean, I did find it awkward that she was okay. She, a 30-something-year-old woman, was okay with the like 18 or 19-year-old, he was above 18, but apparently they're all still teenagers, is what they said earlier. So I'm like, because it confused me.
Is that what they said? Because he was like 20-something.
Well, yeah. So what they said was, I'm, here I am. Remember, she had that line of like, here I am smoking tea bags with teenagers, right?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I'm glad you brought up that smoking tea bags.
Yeah. On my mind the whole time.
Really? Like that was just terrible, right?
Whose idea was it to take the paper straw and load it like a joint? I'd never seen that. And then he like rolls it like he's all genius. Have you ever seen that?
No, that's what I was gonna ask you guys. Is that a thing?
Like, I mean, I'm from California and I've never seen that. So I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. I figure maybe that's a ridiculous New Mexico, Texas thing.
I don't know, because he was also talking about how he like smoked coffee and he smoked anything that lights up, like I was like,
you remember that guy in high school though, right? Who talked about, I could smoke cinnamon, I could smoke nutmeg, right? We all had that guy, right? Every single dude. Banana
I
peels
never
or
did,
whatever.
but it's okay. I didn't really hang out with people.
Well, you were homeschooled. No one counts you.
I wasn't homeschooled, but I feel
I'm
like
kidding.
I was now.
I'm teasing.
Now I feel like I was. Because I don't know anybody who fucking smoked tea bags and coffee and nutmeg.
So they're showing the tea bag thing, Liz. So you hadn't seen that either. You never saw that. You never thought that was a thing.
I'm a nurse, and I've seen and heard of people doing a lot of weird things, but not smoking tea bags.
Like, would that even work? Like,
no, I don't think. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that would work.
What would happen? What would happen? Would you literally just get a caffeine buzz? Like
right. So, what are they actually doing in the film? Are they actually smoking tea in the film, or did they make their own cigarettes? Like, because they're like burning little paper. So, what are they actually doing?
They're probably literally burning nothing. They're probably burning nothing. Make it look like they're burning something, like whatever. I don't know. Like, because honestly, when you do a film, you can't have anybody actually high, or whatever. Not even on tea bags,
Not even on tea. Right. So Liz, you think they're smoking nothing? What do you think? What do you think they're actually doing?
Maybe they had some hand rolled herbal cigarettes or something. I don't know.
It was terrible.
Herbal tea cigarettes is what they were making. And he's all busting it out like, when you got nothing else, the best thing in the joint to smoke is tea. Like,
by the way,
kid,
that's what I'm drinking. Tea.
Yeah. Man.
I'm not smoking it though.
when I got out of the joint, man, I was hooked on tea for years. I haven't gone back to tea. That's how that guy was doing it.
Oh man, the security guard flushed all our tea.
Right. Oh my God. Right. Dude, the security guard dangling those little bits of weed that he didn't flush for some odd known reason and throw the bag away. But yeah, that dangling me gave me the cravings for tea. Let's get some Lipton.
That was fucking weird, man. I was just like,
yeah. Okay, so she says that, right? So the point is, she's allegedly hanging out with teenagers, and we're supposed to believe they're teenagers, right? That guy's got a full arm sleeve tap.
I know. Well, I just watched the new Scream movie, right? And they're supposed to be high schoolers or whatever, and the dude's got full on fucking, what is it? Sleeves and shit. And I'm just like, like even 18 or something, like I don't buy it. And I'm like, it's not that hard to cover up tattoos.
It's really not.
And
so, I mean, it bothers me when Hollywood doesn't do it.
I've been to my kid's school. I've never seen a kid with full sleeves ever. And I assure you, my kids go to a real high school.
It's just ridiculous. People need to like watch that shit because like it bothers people, especially when
how many hours that would take for some kid to like sit through.
Well, I mean, that's part of, they get paid to sit there and fucking, like, unless they're in a low budget film like this and they're no.
I mean the hours to sit through for the tattooing, for the arm sleeves. Like you couldn't even have been 18 that long.
Yeah. I do not know any high school boys who would have been able to tolerate that pain of getting tattoos anyway.
Yeah.
Not high school boys. High school girls, though, they can. Girls are definitely tougher. A whole sleeve, though? No way.
Yeah,
no, not high school kids. So it's ridiculous. It was obviously the dude was in his 20s. That kid was the one, what's his name, Daly or what was his character's name? Like Daly?
I think it was Daly. It might have been like that, right.
He was actually the guy who played him. Robert Posey is one of the co-producers of the film, and if you watch the movie in the beginning with the credits, it says like Posey something like entertainment or whatever.
Oh,
and so yeah, he obviously worked hard on this film, and like, okay, sorry, Robert Posey, this movie was not up to par as to what
that's what I said. I mean that's pretty bad, but I did say he was my favorite one in the movie, but I mean, producing and then starring in it, I don't know, man. I get that's a thing to do. You get a producer credit. I've done it. I don't know that, at that level, I think he thinks he's like, that's why he's not the star. He's like the co-star. Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, oh, I can step down a notch. Like, I think I can hear this conversation that they're having, like, hey man, listen, I probably shouldn't play the lead, as a co-producer, I'll have other things. So how about I'll do supporting? Like, I can hear that conversation. Like, or he's like, oh wait, we want the female killer. Otherwise he would have been the killer as co-producer. He would have wrote himself the starring lead.
I would have bought him as the killer though. That's the thing. Like, as opposed to the girl, like I would have bought him as the killer. He should have been the killer because he had more of a motive, because he's a fucking, dumb kid, He's
like a dropout, right? He's like a loser. Yeah.
He's a loser. He's mad that maybe he was the one actually doing the Satan stuff, and everything. And so like there's more stuff you could have done with this. That's what pisses me off is like I feel like this was a first draft that got like pushed into the movie. And then they were like probably shooting it going, okay, this isn't gonna work, but yeah, screw it. Let's just keep going. Like it feels that way, doesn't it? Like I'm not just saying that.
Right.
I feel like they were like, yo, really hyped. They probably had an Indiegogo. They probably were like, they probably even shot a trailer and they showed everybody that awesome poster and they probably got a bunch of people on board and they're like, yo, this dude has been in hella movies like whatever the heck, Foxtrot and all those other movies you said. Yo, we got this guy who's directing it, man. He's the best. And you're going to, all this hype that I hear as an actor, right, about indie movies. We're going to do all this. And I'm not saying it's bad, right? I'm saying that's how you get funding. But I'm sure that's how it happened. And then when they had the money, they're like, all right, we got all the people together. We're going to do this. And then someone called in sick. And then somebody else was like, all right, I'll fill in. And then they're like, we got this girl and she's really awesome. And then she came on set and everybody was like, oh my God, you're so cool and so much older than us. And you have so much experience. And then they made this movie and they had a great time. And now all those people are like, yo, I'm in a movie on Tubi, man. I'm so cool. And I'm sure that's exactly how it went down.
Okay.
That's the whole story of how that movie got made, bro. It started with Indiegogo and it ended with yo, I'm on Tubi. I promise.
Okay. I'm gonna say that the original title was not Death Rink.
Right. I noticed that too.
What was it?
Skateway Massacre. So
Death Rink is a better title.
It definitely is. I'm pretty sure that was a Wild Eye releasing thing. They changed a movie. One of my friends made a movie called originally called Stirring, like all the creatures were stirring, so
Sure.
And then it got changed to Mrs. Claus because it was a person in a Mrs. Claus outfit killing everybody. Made total sense. And that was a Wild Eye. What?
That's funny.
Right? And it was actually, it was a really good movie. I liked it. It's much better than this movie. Probably should have watched that instead, but
that sounds like it would have been a better premise even. I mean, like Mrs. Claus, that sounds at least like something entertaining.
Yeah. But this did not seem to have a Indiegogo that I know of. But it does have a lot
it was a Kickstarter then. I'm sure it was a crowdfunded event.
Or maybe the director literally just got scraped together as much money as he could, got his friends, put them all in the movie, and maybe he worked at that rink. That's what I'm thinking. That he might have
somebody that is in the movie, I'm sure actually works there. It could be the security guard. It could be the woman who's the lead. It could be the director or a director's friend. You know what I mean? Like someone involved definitely owns the rink, which is nice because they could shoot there all night. Honestly, I thought that's pretty cool. Like to have that location. Unfortunately, that location they just didn't do anything with it.
By the way, that axe is on my head right now. You guys notice that?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's the best kill of the movie right there. Is when Jonathan gets it. Another scene not in the film that would have made the movie better is anything with an axe.
Anything with an axe. I mean, the stomping didn't make any sense. The girl getting stabbed after eating potato chips, that was ridiculous. What happened to the other girl? I forgot what happened to the one girl who was sort of unmemorable too. It was like her birthday.
Oh my God. There was one girl who was really, really really over the top with it. And she was like the chicken pink. How did the chicken pink die, Liz?
Yeah. How did she die? Do you remember? I remember it was like she was making food or something, right? Or whatever. She was cleaning up the kitchen.
Oh, yeah. I remember. Okay, so she dies on the rink, I think, or because at some point somebody's cleaning up the blood and it was her blood like mixed with something. And I think it's that guy Daly or whatever is cleaning up her blood. She got killed on the I don't even know.
I
don't remember either. I just remember her blood.
I just watched it today, so that's.
Yeah, I did too. I watched like the first a 20 something minutes of it beforehand, and then I had to go to the studio today. Then I came back and I finished it, and I was like, oh god. Because like the first 20 minutes of there's no real deaths except for the chain death or whatever. So like,
right, the alleged chain death, right?
right. And
Did you notice
so
the chain changed colors? Did you notice that? That the chain on the garbage can goes from being like a black chain to like a bright silver chain when it's thrown.
I did not, but now I almost want to watch it again. Just
The chain changes colors. It's like they have a prop chain and then they have a real chain.
yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. Let's see what else. There was, I mean, like, yeah. So I'm watching it for the first 20 minutes. For the first, like, literally, like half of the movie or more, there's like no deaths. It's really just a bunch of people talking and answering phone calls.
It's dry.
Yeah, it's like people
It's dry.
watched Scream and tried to make their own, but didn't understand it. Like they didn't. And why does okay? Another thing, if they're teenagers, why the fuck does nobody have a cell phone?
Because it's like the
They-
80s, late 80s, early 90s, I think.
So they said in the movie that it was they zoom in on it and it shows like a thing that says something like happy 2001 or something like that. Like they framed it in '01, and maybe that's why she's wearing that stupid outfit. Maybe that's what she thinks they were wearing in '01. Maybe that's why she's like, yo, we had a flannel in '01 that I still own. And so I'm throwing it on. But I think that's when it takes place, is 2001.
Okay, so nobody has
So I
a
think
cell phone. That's why there's a
would be-
payphone.
right.
Because who fuck has payphones anymore? Like,
And she says something about it costing 25 cents, which
Yeah.
even in 2001, it didn't cost 25 cents. It was more than that. So I'm not sure then when that, like, it might be the 80s or the 90s. I don't really know.
I don't know. It was definitely not 80s because they did not sound 80s at all. Like they didn't have the 80s slang, didn't say rad or or anything like that. And everybody
Sure.
talked like today. That's what's confused the hell out of me. I did not see
Okay.
anything.
Let's talk about the stupid soundtrack. When it kicks on and that guitar music comes on, I guarantee you that it's a band that's friends with the dude who made the movie.
Yep.
Like, and then those guys are like, yo, we got our music in a movie on Tubi.
Yep.
Like,
I know. Well, I mean, look,
Hashtag goals.
I mean,
I said hashtag life goals.
right, exactly.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. It was rough, man. This whole movie. So
The music was like 80s, like metal, like trying to be, I don't know. The music was killing though. When the band came on and I was all, dude, this is really bad. And why would they play that kind of weird rock and roll music at a skate like venue? Like I didn't even think the music choice made sense for the film.
So, okay, first of all, was this closing nut time at all? Right? Like, was this supposed to be like the end of the night when everybody's already like out? Was that the idea?
Yeah. They're closing, and then they decide to have an after-hours party on a Thursday. She mentioned it was a Thursday.
It was that one girl's birthday, though.
Oh, that's right.
It was, but like there was no party. They were just literally just hanging out, talking.
There was no party, and then they're like, yo, I broke out this alcohol for just this occasion, but I've been smoking some tea leaves prior to this. Because he came up with like a bottle of liquor, like halfway through, he's like, yo, I got this half-drank bottle of whiskey everybody could have been drinking.
Oh my God. Yeah, we could have been drinking alcohol instead of smoking tea leaves.
Right. Like I was like, it doesn't make any sense. Like no part of that movie made any sense.
Like I said, I literally think it was a first draft. Somebody was just like, let's just fucking make this. And they were like, okay, let's make it, and nobody questioned anything until like, I don't know, ever. Like, I mean, I understand. See, the biggest problem I have with Wild Eye releasing is I call them the mark of quantity. They just put out movies. Like I'll give you an example. A friend of mine made a movie called Like Animator, right? It's what is it? It's a werewolf, movie or whatever. And they put out the movie without realizing they put out the wrong version. They put out the rough version that they just sent to show them and not the final cut. So what they put out was like less than like an hour and was not even, was like really awful. Then they then they ended up putting out the real version and all this other stuff. But that's the quality like that you're going to get in these kind of things. Cause I don't think they check these movies. They don't watch them. They're just like, you made a movie? Let's put it out.
Well, clearly they're smarter than us if they don't watch them, because we did.
Yeah, well, we had to, and we had to so that other people don't suffer through this movie. They just listen to us.
That's what we're doing. We took one for the team. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Hey, people will thank you. People will be like, "Oh, thank you, Jason, Liz, and John. You guys actually did you did the one thing we didn't have to do." Now
they're going to watch this because Liz Fletcher is on it. That's why they're going to watch this. They're going to thank us for that. That's why.
True. That'll be it. Liz will be.
That's the hook. Look, check it out. Liz Fletcher's on this. You should watch this and not the actual Death Rink movie.
Okay. Hey, I was 45,000 on IMDb this morning. Woo, woo.
Hell yeah! I saw that. Way to go! I told you, man. I mean it.
Okay.
I was like 300,000 the other week, so I don't know what happened.
I was 300,000 this week, yeah. So no worries, man. It goes up and down. It's whatever, right?
So speaking of acting and everything, if you guys had, like, say the director of this film knew you guys from the internet or whatever, and was like, hey Jason, I love your stuff. Would you like to come play the daily? Or whatever, or the French guy, or the French guy, whatever.
The French
guy named French, and Liz, you get to play either the main woman or one of the teenage girls or whatever. Would you guys take it? Reading that script, would you guys be polite and say no, thank you?
Man, I would take it. It depends. I mean, I'm likely to take it because I like to work, and so for me, I'm likely to take it, man. I'm not above really any project. I mean, I feel you. I feel you that I. You know what? I would have asked a lot more questions like, "Hey, man, what kind of camera are you going to use?" and those kind of things. But I probably would have taken it, man.
The camera work wasn't bad, but it was unmemorable. Like there was nothing really, like whatever.
Right. And you never know until you get there, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I have a whole lot of really great qualifying questions is my point. Right. I'm likely to take the role just because I like to work. I try to make sure that the product's going to come out, maybe something I can use for my reel or, I mean, have I done projects like that? I guess is the question. Sure, I have. Would I again? I mean, maybe, man, maybe. Would you? Okay, Liz, would you?
I would. I'm not at a point in my career where I can turn stuff down yet.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, I get it. And I think that's what happened with this movie. That's why I brought it up. I think most of the actors in this movie said they probably saw the script and they're like, ugh. And then they're like, well, you know what? There'll probably be a cool death scene. I'll get choked by a phone cord. Or my head would get stomped by, whatever. But like, there's something cool will happen.
Okay, imagine that, right? So let's say that, right? So they, like Liz said, I'm not at a point in my career where I could turn things down. So they say, hey, you're going to die on a phone cord. And I'm thinking to myself, that's kind of a cool death. I don't have anything like that. That sounds really cool. And then you get there and then they're like, yeah, we don't have any stunts or we don't have anything. You're just like, we're using a real freaking phone. I mean, I don't know. See, that's what I mean. I guess that's qualifying questions, right? Like, I don't want to, you never know what they have in mind or what their experience is. So I would imagine you want to use this for your reel and then they show up with these like ill-prepared stunts. Like, let's say the cone death is your death. You can't use that on your reel.
Yeah, you really can't, can you?
I mean,
Better contact my real person real quick. Huh?
I mean, I'm saying if you went to get footage and some of the footage you got was that kind of stuff, I don't know that it's super usable. That's all I'm saying. And that's, not that hasn't happened to me, but there's a lot to consider when you're taking a role. So, that's all I guess I'm trying to add to it is I'm not above any role by any means, but there's a lot to consider when taking one.
True. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up questions. I think most actors should ask questions to the writer director. I mean, it might annoy them. The writer director might be annoyed. Why are these actors asking these questions? Well, they want to make sure the fucking project's professional.
I think that's what I'm saying is that yeah, as much as I want to take any role, you have to make sure the project's going to be professional. And honestly, like I got anyone in that movie can go, yo, I have a movie on Tubi. So I mean, there's that.
I mean, the movie's finished. It's out. It's done. You could see it, you could hear it. I mean,
right. It's hard to beat that, dude. A lot of guys don't even make it that far.
Right.
So so it's hard for me to kind of hate on this movie in a like a filmmaker's sense,
right.
And especially actor's sense too. Like they tried, like everybody tried. It's just
right. And that's, exactly. And I think that's what I'm trying to say is that, look, I have been where they're at. And I have made that movie, so I don't want to hack anyone's acting or hack anyone's attempt to make film. We're having a good time. We're talking about stuff, but and there were things we noticed. You have to say something about it. But ultimately, I appreciate everything that people do to make cinema and try to put something out. And good for them.
Like congratulations to anyone who finishes a project. Period.
For real.
I'm sure you guys know that there's a lot of movies that just don't get finished. And might not be, like it might not be anybody's particular fault or something. Shit happens and it's hard to raise more money and get things done, but when a movie's finished, it's on Tubi. Holy shit. Problem is one of my friends, the friend who did Like Animator, that produced Like Animator, has told me like a many time that, that once you finish a movie, get it out. Get it out there, right? My biggest problem with that is if it's terrible, do you really want it out there? Do you want people to see that? Like, I don't know.
Could it do more damage than good? Right. I mean, what do you think, Liz? Could it do more damage than good?
I think even bad press is press. Even if it's a bad movie, it's still out there and can get your name out there, I guess. I don't know.
You know what? I feel that too, right? I feel that. And we're talking about Wild Eye Releasing, man. The truth is I hadn't really heard of them, and now we've mentioned them a bunch. So anybody watching the show now is gonna know.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I think you like you said, maybe Liz is right. Maybe it's best to have anything out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and look, Wild Eye Releasing is sweet as fuck. They love me. They've given me a lot of movies to review, and they've told me to be honest about my reviews. But they were like, I was at a convention. They were like, here's a movie. Do you have this movie? Giving to me them all for free when I was in Texas at a horror convention. And I was like, that is awesome. But I don't have I'm going home to Virginia. Like I don't have room for a 30 movies to put in. They gave me literally 30 movies, for free, just so I could review them and stuff.
Couldn't fit somewhere in your car?
I didn't drive. I flew.
Drive.
No, I'm talking about when I was just visiting Texas for a horror convention. I'm not driving all the way out there for that. I'm flying.
Moving from LA to Virginia.
Yeah, when I did that, I could put them all in my car, but even then, you didn't see my car, but my car was packed with a lot of stuff. It was rough, so I had already a lot of stuff to bring home. A lot of movies, so a lot of them were Wild Eye Releasing apparently, so anyway, point is that it's rough, when there's a lot of them, but they're nice. They like the fact that I said these things, or whatever. And look, now we're
Well,
giving props to them. Like we're telling
we're,
them.
we're giving them publicity. They said, Jonathan, we love your show. Bring a couple of popular actors on and brutalize our films, and we'll keep giving you movies.
I hope they keep giving. Well, this wasn't given to me. This was, this was something. But I would like to review more of their stuff.
Right.
Sure. Shout out to them.
I don't know the person's name, but there is a reviewer that does like Wild Eye Wednesday. So on YouTube, go check that out. I'll plug.
That's what you need is more shows. You need more shows that you should host. You're not hosting enough podcasts.
That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. I like that. Thank you.
You got it. I love being on your shows, man.
I know. Like you're on like a bunch of them, multiple different ones. So
Liz is in a lot of them too.
Oh yeah. I was telling Paul earlier that you were coming on the show, Liz, because he knows Paul. Paul knows Liz, and he was like, "Oh my God, Liz is back!" He got excited.
Liz again? That's what he was like.
He literally said Liz is back. He got really excited. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're gonna get to the fun part. And we're gonna.
We still have more to go. Okay.
We're gonna score this movie.
Rude.
No, I mean we talked. I didn't know. We talked longer about the movie than the movie is, which is okay. There's a lot to say.
So the thing is, we do on Indie Film Cafe, and Liz knows this because she was on Indie Film Cafe. I don't think you've been on Indie Film Cafe yet, Jason. I don't think you were on last year or not.
I was on Indie Corner Radio.
Yeah, you're on Indie Corner Radio, and you were on 31 Days of Indie Horror. You were not on Indie Film Cafe. So an Indie Film Cafe, and Paul created this. It's a thing called the Stinkometer, and we do a 1 to 10 scale, and 1 is being very, very good and like excellent and something you would completely recommend, and 10 is stinky and bad. And now stinky can be good, bad, something like so bad it's good, whatever, cheesy, kind of thing. Or you could do like a half step, 0.5 or whatever. And then at the end of the year, we take all the different scores that we've gotten and we kind of put them all together, and see which one's the stinkiest movie of the year. And we're going to be doing that with this too, which is a lot. Because we already got, we'll have 31 of these. We'll have 35 or something of Indie Film Cafe. So there's going to be like 60 something, 66 movies or something, to talk about at the end of the year. As far as ratings and stuff go. And we have a thing now called the Ladder of Stink, which means like everything goes up and you can see which ones are the stinkiest ones. So we kind of group them all together. 1 to 10, 1 being good, 10 being bad. Where would you guys rate this at?
8.
Okay. What about you, Jason?
Yeah, I'm thinking a 9.
You're thinking 9? I was gonna give it an 8 as well. Because that was completely in my head. But 9 is good too. 9's pretty high, but it's not. I don't think like this is not the worst movie that anybody's ever seen. I mean, it sort of made sense enough, like you could follow it, it was stupid, but it made sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, at least it was a linear story and there was a camera.
You could see it, you could hear it. We've done movies where you could not even understand what the people were saying the whole time.
Yeah, I've watched an indie horror film, and the sound was so bad I couldn't. I always finish a movie even if it's bad, except for the Matrix movies. I always fall asleep for some reason, but I always finish a movie, and I could not finish this one film because the sound was so awful.
Okay,
yeah, sound is a lot.
You'll have to let me know what that is so I don't make that be one of the movies that I torture you again with.
Well, I'm kind of in a way linked to it. So
you don't have to say publicly.
Yeah, I wasn't in it, but I'll just stop while I'm ahead.
Don't dig yourself into a hole there.
You weren't in it and the sound is bad. Yeah, that's not a good watch.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If Liz isn't in it, period, we're not gonna watch it.
Right. Why
know?
bother? Yeah.
Right. Liz, you weren't the model for the Death Rink girl with the axe.
Guys, I wasn't gonna tell you that, but
Right.
guess my secret's out.
I wonder who was, and I wonder like where did they get that picture and like, you know, what the deal is. Like, I wonder, did they buy it? Like, or did they create it?
That's a good question. I've always wondered, if I ever interview the Wild Eye Releasing guys, I'll ask them how they do their marketing kind of thing like that. Because that's actually a really good question because most of the time, filmmakers will already have their own posters, right? And then the distributor will say, screw your poster. We're like, once again, like I said, they're going to pay $5,000 for a poster. They're not giving you $5,000. So you have to wait till, more money. It's just and it's just a usual way to get kind of people to, whatever. So I don't know. Anyway, the point is, I don't know. I wonder if it's somebody that they knew or if you're
probably right. It's probably Wild Eye Releasing that put the poster together because they probably had another poster that was crappy. And then Wild Eye went, hey, we're going to make a better poster for your movie. We're not going to watch your movie. So we're assuming this happens.
Yeah. Let me see if they had a Skateway Massacre
poster. A Skateway Massacre poster.
Yeah, poster. Because I try to Google the movies and get a little more information and maybe see what some other people think of it. I did see another couple of posters.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's rough.
The Skateway Massacre. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sure they had a worse poster, right?
And they were like, okay, first of all, we're calling this Death Rink because Death Rink is a better title. And then we're also changing the poster because your poster, not that great. But given the fact that, they probably had no money and or maybe they went to Fiverr and asked somebody to make a poster for them, you can do that, it's not $5 anymore, even Fiverr went up, with inflation these days. It's, which I wondered about that because, this is completely off the topic of this movie, but like, with people being at home all the time, wouldn't you think that people have more time to just get, $5 things and then just keep adding them up? I don't know. Like make it
$5 chalupas.
Yeah.
$5 footlongs. You can get those things. $5 grande box or something. I saw it on TV.
Nice. All right. Well, I think we're pretty much at the end now. I don't think we have much more to say about this movie itself.
Yeah, if we're talking about chalupas, I think
we're done.
Do you guys have Taco Bell in Kentucky? Is that something you guys have?
Well, you do? Okay. If I want me some Taco Bell, I got to go down to the other holler across town.
Over there, but there it's not Taco Bell. It's like Tacos La Plaza or something. It's like some knockoff name. It's not. It's like a bootleg Taco Bell. It's like Taco Ring, Taco Dinger, something like that.
Hey man, it's no Del Taco, okay?
Yeah. Oh, Del Taco's the worst. I know in LA, and I know we're off topic again, but man, I can't vibe with Del Taco does.
I love Del Taco.
It's like not good.
I love it. I don't care. Whatever.
Whatever.
I was eating Del Taco all the time when I was in LA. So.
Liz, Del Taco or Taco Bell? Which one's better?
I've never had Del Taco. I like Taco Bell though. I like it a lot.
There you go. That's the winner.
Oh no, Taco Bell's the winner. I'm just saying I like Del Taco.
Oh, okay.
A lot. I'm not saying that I choose one over the other. If I'm going to choose one, it's going to be Taco Bell. But I've grown up with Taco Bell all my life. All
right. If you had to smoke one in a paper straw, would it be Del Taco or would it be Taco Bell? Which one would you do?
Fire sauce from Taco Bell.
Right.
It would be a cheesy gordito crunch. That I'd be smoking or whatever.
There it is. Right. Exactly right. I like that guy. Yeah, man. Oh man, I haven't had Taco Bell since we used to smoke tea leaves in high school.
Oh Lord. Oh man.
Oh, man.
Oh man. We're just helping people out, figuring out you can apparently people smoke tea, Go ahead, go do it. Try it out
don't
yourself.
do that. Don't do that. Go get some Taco Bell instead, folks. Probably better for you.
Didn't that one guy ask if he was, or was it guy or girl ask if they're gonna get the munchies from that? I was like, what? It's not a drug, It's
right.
It's caffeine or not caffeine.
That goes to the writing, right? That goes back to the writing.
Terrible.
That line has to.
Terrible. This movie was bad. But anyway, thank you guys so much for this. This was fun. If you guys stay on, I'll chat with you guys afterwards. But everybody else, tune in tomorrow for another fun day of indie horror. I'm hoping it's a little better than this movie, but you never know. It might be worse. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff on Tubi. A lot of choices. So we'll see. All right. Well, what's your dog's name?
This is Coco, and
I've got both of them next
up here too. So my son came in and he left the door open, and so both the dogs got in, and they're
having a blast. They love you.
Nice. That's
like,
good footage right there.
I know. He's like, I want to be on camera. Or it's a she, right? She, Coco.
Coco's boy, Ruby's a girl.
Ah, there you go.
Coco is like that annoying guy in high school that you try to tell him you're not interested, but he just won't take the hint.
He's trying to make out with you? Is that what you're saying?
He wants to smoke tea leaves with you. That guy? Yeah. That guy from my school was like, hey, I'm going to hit on you with my tea leaves.
Oh, sorry, my thing is...
And he's gonna try to hook up with you, but you're gonna keep putting your stuff.
Right.
Your
you mean the guy in high school who has a full arm sleeve? Do you mean that guy?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Robert Posey, keep producing the movies, man. Just keep producing.
Liz is gone. Her camera went dead.
Oh no.
She's back.
No, something happened to my clip on my mic stand thing, so I'm just gonna have to hold it.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for checking this out. It's a great way to end. Makes as much sense as the movie did. So there you go. Thank you guys for checking this out. Tune in tomorrow. Have yourself a wonderful October. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.